Sige. Okay. Now, class, after deciding what research topic are you going to pursue, and at the same time, after the research title, we will be starting with your paper mismo, starting from the introduction. So, syempre sa introduction, that involves the background of the study, wherein you are going to um, identify your problem sa introduction mismo, ipapresent nyo yung problem, and you will be using references. Kasi in research class, we have ideas, pero we have to look for references na merong idea na kagaya sa atin, and we are going to give credit where credit is due. Now, since we need references class, you may do working bibliography, okay, to keep track on what references, what sources have you already read, or those references that you think you need sa other parts sa research, just like in the methodology. So again, you may do working bibliography wherein you will keep a detailed list of all the references. It may be books, it may be articles coming from the internet or other sources na possible. Now, the purpose for this, syempre, is for you to have record, and if ever you need something from that reference, you can always go back to that, since again, you have a list, you have a record. And you can keep track also what sources have you examined na and ano yung hindi pa. Okay? Now, you can also see in your working bibliography the other information about that source. So, andyan, babalikan you always yung title, the author, and all the other things that should be included in the citation, and at the same time, in the reference list in your research paper. Okay? So what are the things that you need to know when you are going to do example RRL, review of related studies and literature? Ito yung hahanapin natin sa references or sa bibliography. We have here the title, syempre the title of the article, the author or the authors if marami sila, and then date. We have two dates class that we need to keep track. The first one is the date of publication, and the other one is the date of retrieval. For the date of retrieval, we only need this for sources or references coming from online sources. We need to keep track kasi there are things posted in the internet that may disappear after a month. So we have a record when did you read or examine that source, okay, that reference. And then for printed materials, you also need the page number, okay, or page numbers. And for online references, syempre the URL or the website mismo, okay? Now, when you're going to make the introduction of your paper and all the other parts, sabi ko, we need to give credit where credit is due. And how are we going to do that? We will be using parenthetical citations aside from the reference list at the back of your research paper. Now, what is this parenthetical citation? This is class a brief reference which is placed inside an open and closed parenthesis, and we can see this within the text of your research paper. So ito yung makikita nyo when reading different sources. Ito yung makikita nyo na nasa body mismo ng article, wherein nakalagay siya sa loob ng open and closed parenthesis, and you can only see the surname of the author and the year of publication. But please do not forget that all cited in the parenthetical citations should also be included in the bibliography or in the reference list, again, at the last, almost the last page of your paper, so back part of your research paper. Again, what do you need for the parenthetical citations? You just need the author's last name or the surname and the year of publication. And where are we going to write this? It should be written on the last part of the sentence. Actually, after the last word of the sentence or the paragraph, and before the period. So in between the last word and the period. So how are we going to do that? Let me give you examples. First, we have here citing a significant paraphrased idea. Now, you have to get away with copy-paste na doings na ginagawa nyo. Hindi pwede yan siya sa research na all the things coming from the reference will just be copied and pasted in your paper. You have to do paraphrasing. But even though magpa-paraphrase kayo, it doesn't mean that it's your own idea na. Meaning we have to cite also the source of that idea. Okay, so how are we going to do that? This is the example. We have here a paraphrased idea, and then ito yung ating parenthetical citation. So it's after the last word of the sentence or the paragraph, and then you only need the surname or the surnames of the author. Okay? Ito, dalawa ang author, and then comma, and then the year of publication, and then period. That's how you do a parenthetical citation for a paraphrased idea. Okay? So again, ito yung makikita natin sa ating mga binabasa na articles. However, doon sa mga, baka may mabasa kayong articles in the internet na naka-numbers na lang. Para siyang superscript, tapos nakalagay siya inside a bracket and the number na lang ang nakalagay. And if you're going to click that number, it will be you will be directed to the reference list with all the details of the sources. Yun yung format na ginagamit nila for online na mga articles or online na studies, published online. Pero sa paper natin, class, we will not be using these numbers inside the bracket. Instead, we will really write the surname of the author and the year of publication. Okay? So that is again citing a significant paraphrased idea. Now, there are times that the name of the author is already cited in the text mismo. Therefore, what we are going to do is only the year of the publication will be placed inside the open and close parentheses. Yeah, yan yung sinasabi ko na the author is cited in the text already. Example, lagay nyo, according to Gabilagon. Ganon, nasa text yung apelyido ng surname. Ano ang gagawin for the citation? It will look like this. Okay? Just beside the surname, which is included in the paragraph, you will still have the parenthetical citation, but it will only include the year of the publication. Okay? So again, pwede ding according to Polit 2004, nursing is expected to generate knowledge, etc. Okay, so I hope nakuha nyo yung kaibahan. Ito, this is purely the idea being paraphrased. So the name of the author is not stated within the text. Therefore, the parenthetical citation will include both the surname or surnames of the author and the year of the publication. But for the case of the author being included within the text, then you just need the year of the publication inside the open and close parentheses. I hope that is, class, ang tawag dyan, clear. Sige. So ito siya, actually parehas lang ito, citing a quotation without the author's name in the text. Ganun pa rin yun. We have here the paraphrased idea. The surname of the author is not included in the text. So you have to include that in the parenthetical citation. But this one is an example of a printed source. So the idea comes from a printed source. That is the reason why, aside from the name of the author and the year of publication, you may include the page number. Definitely, it will not be true for online sources or online references since we don't really have page numbers there. Again, this is true for printed materials like our books. Now, how about citing two or more authors? Kanina, two authors actually yun. Ito, Pollitt and Beck. Please take note, class, that if an article has 2 or 3 authors, you really have to include all their surnames. Okay? Example, Pollitt, Beck, and Gabilagon. Tatlo sila. Ilalagay nyo talaga yung lahat ng surnames nila, followed by, syempre, the year of the publication. Now, when are we going to use et al? Et al means and others. We are going to use et al if we have 4 or more authors class. Again, pag tumungtong yang ng 4 and then more than 4, mag-et al na tayo. Now, the only surname that will be written is the name of the principal investigator or the principal author. Okay? So example, Gabilagon et al. 2022. If again, marami. Example, ako yung principal researcher or principal investigator. So, apelyido ko na lang, Gabilagon et al. 2022. Pwede din siyang in-text citation. So again, when you say in-text citation, the name of the author is already included in the text. Pero, since we have 4 or more authors here, then we may add et al. Right beside the name of the principal, the surname of the principal investigator. So just like this one, Celtis et al. And then only the year of publication is included or is written inside the open and closed parentheses. Okay, that is followed by the idea. Okay. You can ask questions. You may send your questions sa chat box, or you can raise your hand and unmute your microphone. Okay, and state your question. Sige. Now, how about authors or references that have authors with the same surnames? Anong mangyayari doon? Example, dalawa kaming Gabilagon. Parehas naming simulat yung isang article na yon. That's the time we are going to include their initials for us to give proper identification to them. So just like this one, we have here the paraphrased idea, and we have 2 authors. They have the same surname. That is why we included here the initials. We have LP Calmarin and MA Calmarin 2002. Therefore, dapat wala akong makita na magsasubmit sa akin ng research na nilagyan ng initials yung surnames ng parenthetical citation, tapos hindi pala magkapareho ang surname ng author. So do not forget, we only use and we only include the initials if they have the same surname. Now, this is the dilemma of most of the researchers. We have references that don't really have authors class, especially those articles published online. May mga cases talaga na hindi nyo makikita yung author, hindi natin alam. So what are we going to do? We will still have the parenthetical citation. Pwede pa rin siyang after the paraphrased idea, but it will look like this. Itong underlined, this is the title of the book. If it is a printed material, again, this is the title of the book. You have to underline it instead of the surname of the author. Okay? This is the title of the book, or if it is online, it should be the title of the website. Okay? May title naman, may pangalan naman yung website. I believe mostly yun yung mangyayari. And then comma, and then we have quotation. Ang ilalagay sa quotation marks will be the title of the article itself. Okay? Ito title ng book, ito title ng article. That's how we distinguish the two. Naka-underline yung title ng book or ng website, and naka-quotation naman yung title of the article mismo. Okay? So wala nang mako-confuse ha. Baka may magtanong sa akin, ma'am, wala itong author, so anong gagawin namin? I have already given you this example. Okay? But as much as possible, you look for references wherein may author talaga. Para sure tayo. Okay? Mas reliable yun pag makita natin yung author. Okay? Now, citing the corporate author, you have to just indicate the name of the organization and at the same time, the year of publication. Example, your study is about COVID-19 and you get the information from the website of the Department of Health. Again, the information is published in the website of Department of Health. Now, you cannot see the author there actually kasi pinapublish lang talaga nila sa website nila. Therefore, the author class will be the organization. So you may write DOH 2022 or Department of Health 2022. Another example, this is taken from the student handbook. Okay, if you have a copy of the student handbook of our school, you cannot really see there the principal author of that handbook, but it belongs to doctors, syempre. Therefore, if you're going to use, example, the vision and mission of the school, then you may cite GSDMSFI mismo. Yan mismo yung author ng source natin. Okay, just like the DOH, the FDA, if it's taken from the FDA website. So again, that's GSDMSFI, example 2003. Okay, now citing secondary authors. You may encounter this one class na the idea na nasa article is not really coming from the author of the article na binabasa mo. Instead, nag-cite lang din siya. Okay? Nag-cite lang din siya. Hindi talaga sa kanya. Tapos nakita mo, oh, nasali itong idea na ito sa paper niya, pero nag-cite din siya, may nakalagay na citation. So what you're going to do, you have to include all names, the primary source and the secondary source. Ang primary source, yan yung original talaga, na sa kanya talaga yung information, sa kanya talaga yung idea na yon. And then, the secondary source will be the author ng currently binabasa mo na article. So it may go like this. We have Seidenberg and McClelland's study, and then parenthesis 1989. Ito yung original. You can see that in the year of publication, syempre. So, nasa itong that, syempre yung paraphrased idea yan siya. So again, we have the year of publication, and then ilalagay lang natin as cited in Coulthard, Curtis, Atkins, and Haller 1993. Actually, pwede na itong et al. Pero kung nakikita nyo as cited, meaning ito yung secondary author. Ito yung currently binabasa mo na article. Okay? Pwede din ganito if ever lang the idea that you want to include in your paper belongs to someone else and not from the current author. Okay? Sige. Do you have questions? Kasi kinip ko ito last meeting. I directly discussed the research design. I know that there is just a representation na may nauna diyang nakasulat, and that is the paraphrased idea.